Forget the Hollywood haunted mansions out in the middle of nowhere. The scariest ghost stories don't come from abandoned castles or creepy cabins in the woods. They come from right here, the apartments down the hall, the corner you walk past every night, the spots in your own neighborhood. These are hauntings born from the streets. And tonight, we're diving into 5 stories that'll make you rethink every sound you hear after dark. Have you ever noticed how every block has that one spot, that one corner that feels different, like the air is heavier there? On my block in Chicago, that place was the old stoop across from my window. And here's the thing, every night, like clockwork, at exactly 11:47 p.m., a figure would be sitting there. Same spot, same posture, never moving, never speaking, just waiting. At first I thought nothing of it. Maybe a neighbor with insomnia or someone just cooling off in the night air. But weeks passed, and it didn't matter if it was freezing cold, pouring rain, or even a snowstorm, he was always there. Same figure, same silence. One night I asked my neighbor, "Yo, you ever noticed a guy on that stoop?" She gave me a look like I was crazy and said, "What guy?" That's when I realized nobody else could see him. From then on, it became a ritual. Every night, 11:47, I'd glance out my window, and there he'd be, sitting perfectly still. And then, one night, he was gone. I thought maybe it was over. Maybe I was finally free from seeing him. But that's when everything went wrong. See, Chicago nights don't forgive. Not long after, I got caught up in something ugly. My crew had beef with a rival set. And that night, it turned into a shootout. Gunfire in the alley, the kind where every shadow feels like it's aiming back at you. I ran, had no choice. I ducked into the first place I could find, an abandoned 2-flat with busted windows and graffiti on the walls. I thought I'd hide out until the heat died down. But the moment I stepped inside, I felt it. The same heavy dread from the stoop. The air smelled like dust and mildew, and every floorboard groaned under my weight. I crept through the dark, gun in hand, trying to convince myself it was just a house. That's when I heard it. A whisper. Not outside, not down the street right behind me. It said my name. I spun around, nothing there. Just shadows stretching across peeling wallpaper. But when I turned back toward the living room, I saw him. The same figure from the stoop. Except now he wasn't sitting. He was standing. Too tall, too thin. His limbs hanging just a little too long, and he was inside. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. The figure didn't walk. He glided across the floor, slow at first, then faster. The closer he got, the louder the whisper became, until it was right in my ear, cold breath against my skin. I bolted. Out the door, down the block, heart pounding like gunfire. Snow crunched under my sneakers, but I didn't dare look back. When I finally made it home, I locked the door, collapsed on the couch, and tried to calm down. I told myself I'd imagined it all, just adrenaline and fear playing tricks on me. But then, I saw something that still makes my blood run cold. The TV screen was off, just a black reflection, and in it, I could see him. Not outside, not across the street. He was standing inside my building, right at the bottom of my stairs. So let me ask you, if it was you, would you have run out the front door into the night? Or gone upstairs, knowing something was behind you? I do night shifts off 95th, so the red line is my lifeline. If you're from here, you know the deal. Head down, hood up, last car's usually empty. I always took it until the night I learned why you don't. It was a Tuesday sliding into Wednesday, 2:13 a.m. I remember because the platform clock flickered, 2:12, 2:13, 2:12, like it couldn't make up its mind. Train pulls in, last car dead quiet. Good, less drama. Doors hiss open. Cold air hits me like a freezer truck. I step in, lights buzz, doors close. You ever sit and immediately feel watched? No reason, just that prickle at the back of your neck. I told myself, relax, it's Chicago. Everything feels like a warning at 2. We roll. Next stop, 87. The PA sounded wrong, too slow, like somebody dragging a finger across a record. I glance down the aisle, no one. Then I look up at the window's reflection. 3 people behind me. A man in a heavy coat, head down. A woman holding a kid on her lap. An older guy in a cap, hands folded. But when I twist in my seat, empty. You ever try to rationalize something mid-panic? I told myself the glass was doubling my reflection, catching ad posters, whatever. We hit 87th. Doors don't open. No one on the platform. Lights dim, brighten, dim again. Next stop, 69. The voice came through backwards, like a tape played wrong. The train accelerates. I hit the door button. Nothing. I stand. Try the emergency intercom. Dead. I look up again. Reflection shows the same 3 people, only closer now. The man's coat is wet. The woman's arms look empty, like the kid is gone, but she's still making that holding shape. And the old man? He's staring directly at me in the glass. I spin around. Empty car. Seat cushions quiet as graves. We blow past 79th. No stop. My heart's climbing my throat. I start walking toward the front of the car. Halfway there, the motion sensor should trip the intercar door. It doesn't. I try to pull it. It's freaking locked. Over the speaker, the announcement cracks, and I hear cries. Not one person, a crowd, muffled behind static. The fluorescent over my head strobes, on, off, and in the off I see shapes. Everything dark, but a tall silhouette at the far end of the car, arms too long, joints slightly wrong, like it's bent for tight spaces. Lights snap back on, nothing there. Doors open on the left. The PA screams, then chokes to silence. We slam to a stop at 63rd, dead platform, doors finally part. I lunge out, breath fogging in front of me like it's mid-January, which it isn't. I turn back. In the car's reflection, they're all standing now. Coat guy, empty-armed mom, the old man, and that tall thing in the corner, half hidden by the metal pole. A station cop appears from nowhere, hand raised like, "You good?" And he freezes, eyes wide. "You just get off that car?" I nod. He swallows. "Don't ride last car after 2. I try to laugh. It comes out wrong. "Why?" He shakes his head. "Because some folks never made it home, and they still trying." That last car's the one they keep boarding. I'm done. I take stairs 2 at a time, out into the weirdly empty street. By the time I cut down my block, my hands are still shaking. I lock my door, drop my bag, collapse on the couch. Don't judge me. I grab the remote, turn on the TV for noise. CNN's on mute. I just need company. My apartment's quiet finally, and in the black of the TV screen, I see my reflection on the couch. Behind me, reflected in the window, those 3 figures standing in my living room doorway, and the tall one in the corner. I whirl around, nothing. Turn back to the TV, there. I don't even breathe. I reach for my phone, camera up. I point at the doorway, nothing. I flip to selfie mode. There they are again, crowding behind me in the screen. I drop the phone like it's hot. The apartment gets colder, frost on the inside of my window, dripping like tears. From down the hall, my bedroom door creaks open by itself. The TV crackles from mute to a burst of snow. And over the static, I hear the PA voice. Next stop, home. I bolt, hood up, keys out, I'm gone. I sleep in my sister's living room on 103rd for 2 nights. When I finally go back, everything's normal, almost. My bathroom mirror. There's a long, greasy streak at shoulder height, like someone leaned there. And every now and then, around 2:17 a.m., I hear a train brake somewhere it shouldn't, and a slow voice in my vent say, "Doors open on the left. If you still ride the red line late, you do you. But if you ever catch a reflection showing a crowd behind you when the car is empty, don't wait to see who they are. Get off at the next stop, if it opens." You ever walk into a place and notice what you don't hear? No fridge hum, No upstairs footsteps, no pipes whining, just blank. That was Unit 3B off 108. We took it because it was cheap, and my girl said we'd make it cute. I said fine, I sleep anywhere. First night, we move in boxes, order pizza, argue about where the couch goes. Regular stuff. But around midnight, I notice it. Silence like a muscle pushing on my ears. I snap my fingers. Sounds like it gets eaten. My girl laughs. You hella dramatic, bro. Second night, I wake up because something's changed. Not a sound happened. A sound stopped. The street is quiet, which in watts is already a miracle. But even the far-off freeway hush is gone. I sit up, listen hard. The silence feels like fog. I fall asleep to it, heavy as a blanket. My cousin Dre crashes the third night. Says he'll take the futon by the living room wall. We joke about roaches, none. And neighbors, none. He's mid-story when he stops and says, "My guy, why is your wall moving?" I tell him chill. He stands, presses his ear to the drywall. It's like breathing or something. I put my palm on it. It's warmer than the room. Slow push out, slow pull in. I snatch my hand away and laugh too loud. The silence swallows it like a pill. Around 2:40, I dream a low bass like a subwoofer on the other side of my skull. Wake up to Dre's voice. "You up, bro?" I open the door. He's not on the futon. His blanket's on the floor, phone on the cushion, screen lit with missed calls. The sound in the apartment is dead, like the pause between thunder and knowing it'll hit close. "Dre," I whisper. The apartment says nothing back. I grab his phone. It's on SOS. Location, dot says, Unit 3B. I tap ping. The chirp doesn't come from the futon. It comes from the wall. Right where he said it breathed. I freeze. Tap again. The wall pings back. You know that way fear tastes like copper? It hits my tongue. I put my ear to the spot. The drywall is warm, and it's damp. I call his name, louder. The apartment doesn't echo. No sound returns. My girl wakes, asks what I'm doing. I tell her to call his number. We both hear it ring, inside the wall. Something knocks from in there. 1, 2, 3. We're not heroes, man. We bang out. We knock on the neighbor's door. No answer. Downstairs, no answer. Outside, everything normal. Sirens far, a dog 2 blocks over, the city back on. Upstairs, 3B stays mute as a closed mouth. Cops come, fire 2. They pry the panel near the baseboard. Behind the first layer, there's a crawl cavity nobody told us about. Empty and not. My stomach flips at the smell. Old air, cheap soap, breath. They pull more drywall, find scuffs like something was pressed there for too long. No dryer. We file the report. Dre's mom calls me hollow. Days pass. My girl won't sleep there. I keep hearing that low bass in my dreams. The landlord shrugs. Old building. A week later, my phone lights up. Location update. Dre's phone moved. I don't even think. I drive back with bolt cutters. 3rd floor hall light is dead. Inside, Unit 3B is colder than outside for once. The silence is still total, but it's thinner, like it's stretched. I tap ping. The chirp comes from the bathroom vent. I climb the counter, put my face close. The vent exhales on me, warm, a little wet. The ping sounds again, inside the duct. I close my eyes and whisper to the silence, "Please." The apartment exhales. The fan flicks on by itself. The chirp grows distant, like the phone is moving deeper into the building's throat. I lose it. I rip the vent and stick my arm in up to the elbow. Feel only heat and the faintest tremor, like a heartbeat far away. I call the fire captain again. He meets me with a look like I'm crazy, but cuts a bigger hole. The duct branches left and right. In the dust, a smear track where something, not a phone, was dragged. We moved out, lost deposit, didn't care. Weeks later, Dre walked in the door at his mom's like he was switching channels. He looked thin, toenails dirty like he'd been walking around without shoes. He wouldn't say where he was. He just said, "It's too loud out here," and started crying. I tried to ask, "Where were you?" He'd flinch at a car horn, flinch at a microwave beep. He said the only thing that made sense. The quiet holds you. Feels safe at first. Then it wants more. Sometimes. Late. The new place goes still for a beat too long. No fridge, no pipes, no cars. And in that slot of silence, my vent breathes warm once, like something remembering me. That's when I turn on 2 TVs and pray it can't find room to breathe. So this happened when I was driving a taxi at night for extra cash. If you know Miami south of 36th, cutting through Overtown, it's the kind of place where you trust the way your neck hair moves before your eyes do. Heat coming off the asphalt, glass sweating, radios arguing through cracked windows. It was a Thursday sliding into Friday, around 1:18 a.m. I hit 2nd Avenue, and I see her, standing under a busted streetlight. Black dress, long shiny hair that looked wet. She raises one hand, fingers pressed together like a prayer. I slowed down. Look, it's Miami. You don't leave a woman out that late if you got a heart. She gets in without a word. That's when the cold hit me. The air conditioner was off, but my windshield fogged up from the inside. I asked where was she headed. She says she is going to a street I don't like after midnight. Her voice was low, scratchy, like she'd been whispering for hours. We take off. The meter ticks, then hiccups. Numbers blink, then start counting backward. I slap it, but it keeps glitching. Yo, this meter's wildin', I joke. She doesn't answer. We pass a corner that's usually loud. Tonight it's empty. Even the streetlights sound quieter. I check the mirror. For a split second, I see another face back there. Not hers, not mine. Just darker than the dark. I blink. It's gone. Take the next right, she says. But her voice doesn't sound like one voice. It's layered, like a woman's voice with something dry under it. She keeps redirecting me. By the time I realize, we're headed straight toward the cemetery. The gate's unlocked. My car dies as soon as we stop, but the headlights stay on. Fog curls up from the grass like fingers. I tell her, "Ma'am, I don't do graveyard drop-offs." She leans forward. For the first time, I feel her weight in the seat, like the frame of the car bends. In the mirror, her face is right over my shoulder, close enough to fog the glass. But when I turn, she's sitting proper again, hands folded neat. "You pick me up," she says. "Be kind. Drive me home." The meter blinks zeros, then -13. The clock won't move past 1:18. I pray, turn the key, and somehow the engine catches. At the gate, I feel a wet, cold hand on my shoulder, pressing me like, "Don't go." But I don't look back. At the first gas station, I roll in, jump out, open her door. The back seat is empty, but the fabric's damp, like it rained inside. On the fogged glass, 5 fingertips dragging upward. The clerk just looks at me and says, "You look like you've seen a ghost, son." I laugh too hard, ask if he believes in ghosts. He tells me he believes in women who don't go home, who make men drive forever. I quit driving nights a week later. But a couple months later, washing the car, I saw it. The faint 5-finger streak still on the inside of the rear glass. It never came off, no matter what I used. And sometimes, even now, I'm stopped at a red light and the meter ticks back 1 cent, like a heartbeat. That's when I don't check the mirror. And I don't say her name because I never learned it. And I think she likes it that way. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, in a row of brick 2 families that all looked the same. Same paint, same steps, same busted mailboxes. We didn't have much, but we had our block. Summers, we'd play manhunt or tag until the streetlights came on, darting in and out of driveways and porches, sometimes even through the back alleys if you were bold. One night, we were playing hide and seek after dark. There was this one house, 3rd floor walk up, paint peeling, blinds always drawn. Everyone called it the quiet house. Nobody saw the tenants, nobody ever had mail in the box, and no kids ever came out. Perfect hiding spot, right? So my boy Tyrell dares me. "Bet you won't hide in there." I was 12, too stupid to back down. The front door was cracked just enough. I slipped inside. First thing I noticed was the air. Not dusty, not musty, just dead inside, like the way a basement feels when it floods. The hall light was dim, flickering. I crept up one step at a time, heart pounding, trying to stay quiet. At the top of the stairs, the apartment door was wide open. I told myself it was abandoned, empty, good spot to hide. But as soon as I stepped in, I froze. The living room had furniture, but everything was covered in white sheets. Couch, chairs, even the TV stand. The sheets weren't dusty though. They looked fresh, almost too clean. Then I heard it, whispering, not from one voice, like a room full of people, all low and fast. My stomach dropped. I called out, "Yo, anybody here?" The whisper stopped dead. Silence. Behind me, the door creaked shut. I panicked and ducked behind the covered couch, trying to stay low. And that's when I saw them, bare feet under the sheets. Not on the floor, under the sheets covering the furniture. Slowly shifting, like someone was standing perfectly still underneath. I held my breath. My phone buzzed in my pocket, Terrell texting me, "Where you at?" The sound echoed way too loud in that room. Every single sheet in the house twitched at once. I bolted. But when I hit the stairs, the steps didn't sound right under me. Instead of creaking wood, it sounded like whispers, each footfall repeating my name. By the time I hit the street, my chest was on fire, and Tyrell and the others swore I was pale as chalk. We laughed it off later, but here's the kicker. The next morning, I walked past the house. Windows were wide open, sheets gone, place completely bare, like no one had lived there in years. But on the front steps was my phone case, the one I dropped when I ran, except it was bent, warped, like it had been crushed in someone's hand. I never went near that place again. And sometimes, when the block is too quiet, I swear I hear those whispers riding the wind. So tell me, if your boys dared you to hide in that house, would you? Follow Fear Ain't Fiction for more real horror.